dedicated to you. So, could I make a request for those that fall in the category of youth?
To come forward.
Please come forward. Those of you that are... No. The adults stay right where you are. Those in the category of... Because I'm going to be looking at you and visually...
My legs down. No. My legs like cramps. See?
You need help?
No. The cramps will go on.
Okay. Everyone get settled. Come on up. Come a little forward. You with the orange bead bag. Come. Yeah, it's you. You like the back row. It's okay. Good enough. Okay. Well, I was given a robust suggestion of 2 topics. And I liked one and somebody else liked another, so we'll do both. Overcoming procrastination. Ooh. The other one, the title is Put the Cart Before the Horse. A lot of like this first one. I was told you liked the first one. Overcoming procrastination. We had a discussion on this very topic yesterday evening at Brandeis. One of the students, it's connected, the 2 topics are connected, so it's easy, piece of cake. The topic yesterday evening was stress management. So I started by saying, the best stress management is not have any. That's called Vaikuntha. So if you're in Vaikuntha, what does Vaikuntha mean? No Kuntha. No anxiety. So let's go to that place, the Vaikuntha place. And in case you're not there yet, some of us aren't there yet. Some of you are there, but some of us aren't there. Then there's managing, stress management. And so on the topic, we had a whole thing on stress management. One of the things was, there are things that are helpful to overcome stress. So we had a little discussion, breakout session. Maybe we'll do something like that this evening. Let's see how it goes. Something that you can do, that you can move in a positive direction towards managing your stress better than you have been before this class. Something that you heard and you think you can apply and it can help you. Blah, 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 blah. They had their lively discussion. It was pretty lively discussion time. And then at the end, there was the procrastination question. What do you do when you know that there's something you should do that's beneficial and you kind of put it off and you kind of put it off? Procrastinate. They said, no, it's procrastination. On either side, something that's wanted or something that's unwanted. Guess what? It has to do with Vaikuntha. But, how do you attain Vaikuntha? How do you attain a spiritual position? How do you make things that are material spiritual? By bhakti. And bhakti means take shelter of Krishna. Isn't that what bhakti means? Sarvadharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma. See, we all know the verse, but why don't we do it? Procrastination. I'll get around to it. Is it sarvadharmam? Not, the ones that you are attached to that are unwholesome. You can hang on to those, that's okay. The other ones you can get rid of. No, sarvadharmam. Prityaja. Mam ekam sharanam. So, I'll get around to it. I'm still young. Or this person that asked the question said, maybe you can relate to this. When I'm sitting alone and, doing my daily devotional practice, it's fine. But then life starts to move and starts to get busy and I kind of lose track. And then at the end of the day, I slow down and wait a minute, I forgot. So how do I stay with that? It's those things that are helpful, anukulya, the principle of surrender. The principle of surrender, 1866. Mamekam sharanam is called sharanagati. Sharanagati means going to the place of sharana. Sharanagati means, and there's 6 limbs. Accept things favorable, reject things unfavorable. Procrastination is I'll accept some, but not all of them. And even though I know they're good for me to accept, and I'll reject some, but not the ones I'm really attached to because I'm really attached to them. And I know I should reject them, but I'll get around to it later because I'm a procrastinator. This was the discussion yesterday. When you can speak in terms of material terms, but you speak in terms of spiritual terms, it encompasses the material. That was the question this morning in the Bhagavatam class. How do you make spiritual solutions to material problems? Behind the material solutions to material problems, if it's going to be effective, there's a spiritual principle. If it's going to be effective, there's a spiritual principle that supports the material step that you take. What's the spiritual principle? Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. Krishna should be pleased. That's the key, everyone, myself included, that's the key of overcoming procrastination. You just get with the principle of what bhakti is. What's the principle of what bhakti is? Krishna should be pleased. If you connect with that, the rest is a piece of cake with icing on top. And if you don't connect with that, it's a struggle. Who likes to struggle? Well, we don't like to struggle, but we're attached to the objects that keep the struggle going. We're not attached to misery. We're attached to the sources of misery. We don't like the misery. We don't like the misery. But we're attached to the sources of misery. And we procrastinate going beyond our attachment to the sources of misery. Letting go. And if you let go, what goes? You have to have something in its place or you can't let go. It's a Bhagavad Gita. Practical solutions have behind them a spiritual solution. Material solutions, if they work, even for a short while, what to speak of for a long while, there's a spiritual principle behind it. Here's a spiritual principle. Detachment, this is like procrastination, is I'm attached to something and I can't let go. Or there's something unwholesome that I do that I know is unwholesome, but I do it and I shouldn't do it. Or, something, just homework or an assignment or whatever, clean up your room or, something. whatever is that something that you know it's good for you, and then you like get busy being carried away with stuff because it's important to you. So what we discussed yesterday, and I'm going to do two more things, and then we're going to see if there's some discussion. Then I'm going to ask you to have the youth at least, and the others can do it too, a little breakout discussion on the topic. In Bhagavad Gita, this is now on the topic of overcoming procrastination. There are things that are unwholesome. To get rid of things that are unwholesome, you can call it, one way to call it is detachment. That which is unwholesome, unhealthy, undesirable, anartha, something unwanted. Just before coming down here, I'm 3 minutes late because I'm preparing for a presentation on Madhurya Kandambini. This is more for the adults. Madhurya Kandambini is fantastic. It's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's way of taking what Rupa Goswami gave in 2 verses of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, writing a book on it. The 9 stages of bhakti. In 2 verses. 1, 14, 15. 2 verses. It's the stages of bhakti. There's a definition of what bhakti is. Rupa Goswami gives that. And then there's stages of developing bhakti and how it begins and how it matures and how it becomes, that's sadhana, then bhava and prema. So that's high stuff. But one of the obstacles, this is procrastination topic, one of the obstacles is we're attached to things that are unwholesome. Anarthas. Here's a nice definition. So just before I came down, here's a definition of anartha. It's really simple. That which is an obstacle for achieving the ultimate spiritual attainment, paramartha, that's anartha. Procrastination is an anartha. There's aside from ultimate attainment, just like little attainments. Clean your room, or do well in your exam, or something. That's something wanted. But then there's paramartha, and that's the real anartha. The things that are obstacles for that, or creates an obstacle. And that's procrastination. It creates an obstacle. It's not in and of itself the obstacle, but it creates the obstacle. Because that which is in my real self-interest I don't check in. I've checked out. And I'm somewhere over there instead of my real self-interest. And then I procrastinate because I'm over there. Oh boy. It's called material life. What to do? What to do? Mode of goodness. Cultivate mode of goodness. For starters. That's not the solution. It's a step in the direction. What are symptoms of the mode of goodness? This is on the topic of overcoming or dealing with the obstacle of procrastination. The obstacles that are created by procrastination. How to overcome it. Mode of goodness. In mode of goodness, it's my way of thinking. One of the symptoms of mode of goodness is an introspective, reflective state, rather than passion. Go, 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 go. Succeed, achieve, da, 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 da. That's passion. I was at University of Texas in Austin, UT Austin, big place. It's 85,000 students. That's a lot of students. And growing. One student, my advisors are telling me that I'm too much in the mode of passion. And I know it's an obstacle. What do I do? Regulation. Rise early in the morning. And cleanliness. Mode of goodness. Did you start with that? And regulation means this is overcoming procrastination. But it's also the other topic. The other topic is put the horse before the cart, not the cart before the horse. The topic, I mentioned this last night. I'm mentioning it for you, all of you now. There's this really good public speaker. He's not a Hare Krishna guy, but he's a good public speaker. His name is Simon Sinek. Some of you are nodding. You know who he is, some of the adults. He's good. I mean, he doesn't chant Hare Krishna or anything, but he has principles. And so one of the presentations he made, I'm making in a different way. It's this Bhagavad Gita, but he makes 3 circles. In the center, often we're in the category, we spend time in the space of what? It's called desire. And to get the what, there's the how. So you have to have a strategy to get the what, because you want the what. You want a desire fulfilled. So you have to, material intelligence considered to get lots of hows to get the whats. But what's missing is the why. So the why is at the center. This is like his drawing 3 simple circles. There's a whole bunch of circles out there in the what. And there's this band inside the what is the how, but missing is the why. So procrastination, overcoming procrastination, be in the reflective state, mode of goodness, and ask yourself the question, why? Like, why is it important to not procrastinate? Why is it important when something is important that I do that which is important? Why is it important? It's hang out in the why space. Because when the why, it connects, and not just the head, it connects to your heart. Why is it important? Just like we were speaking upstairs about chanting, you have a place of shelter. It's a place of shelter. So is that important? If it's important, why is it important? Not just you check the box and get an A in your Bhakti Shastri exam or something like that, but in your heart. Why is it important or not? And if it is, why? If it's not, why? And why? Why? Not how or what. It's a Simon Sinek topic. But it's a Bhagavad Gita topic. There's other ways of saying the same thing. They sound like material solutions, but the bottom line is, if you don't have a spiritual solution, the material solutions aren't going to amount to beans. They'll be around for a while, and then the wind will come along, and they're gone. Circumstances change, and you're floating in the space somewhere again, like trying to figure out what happened. Conversely, if you have a very strong why, and you understand, so when you read and when you chant and when you do what you do on a regular basis, because it's good for you, you do it brush your teeth because it's good for you. Oral hygiene is good. You don't not brush your teeth one day because, I won't feel like brushing my teeth today. You brush your teeth every day. And that's a spiritual principle, is sadhana. Something that I learned, I'll share with you ahead of time. It has to do with this Madhurya Kandambini lesson. Who is crying? Oh, there it is. It was nice while it lasted. I'm going to share something with you that I've learned from spending maybe 150 hours with Madhurya Kandambini, at least. And that is, what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes is nothing but what Jiva Goswami and Rupa Goswami write, which is nothing but what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught to Rupa Goswami, which is the Vedas. And you can trace everything to its source, and the source is the Vedas. You know, the Vedas are not easy to understand. I'll give one example. I could give you many. One example. Taittiriya Upanishad. Rasavaisaha. What does that mean? It's a foundation teaching for bhakti. Really? Please explain. My point I'm trying to make here is Rupa Goswami's teachings, our Lord Chaitanya's teachings are the Vedas, and the application of the Vedas is bhakti. Bhakti in the highest stage that gives prema bhakti in the mood of the resident in Vrindavan. And it's in Taittiriya Upanishad. Just have to unpack it. I won't go through the whole thing because it's like, this is for the youth. And, you know, it may be boring. It's just a principle. I'm sharing something that has meant, I've learned a lot in this principle. Besides the teachings are very nice, the title of the book is Madhurya Kandambini. And Madhurya means sweet, sweetness, as in madhu, as in honey. That's the dhatu from Madhurya. The sweetness of bhakti. And it's a rain cloud. Anyway, so it's shower, a downpour of shower. The chapter is just going to shower and shower and shower to nourish the seed of bhakti. So back to the topic of overcoming procrastination. There's something far more attractive than stuff. And, you know, the what? The desire and fulfilling a desire and getting the stuff so I can fulfill the desire, so that I can do then I can use my intelligence to learn how to get the desire fulfilled. There's something far more meaningful. And when you take shelter of that, why is it important? It makes the cultivation very easy. So one of the things that Rupa Goswami did, he explicitly, like, cut and paste from Patanjali Yoga Sutras. It's not Veda, but it's wisdom. And there's a definition that Patanjali gives in his Yoga Sutras for practice. This is on the topic of overcoming procrastination. You practice something every day. This is a definition in Patanjali Yoga Sutras for abhyasa, yoga practice. Abhyasa, yoga practice. Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa nanyagamino. Practice. It's three things. Very simple. Something that you do every day for a prolonged period of time with faith. The faith that it's going to get you to where you want to go. Procrastination, if you have faith that's going to take you to where you want to go, and you do it every day for however long it takes, for a prolonged period of time, you'll get there. But you have to take little steps, not just procrastinate. So why do we procrastinate? Because we're attached. Attached to what? Not attached to suffering, but attached to the sources of suffering. Is there an option? Detachment, according to Bhagavad Gita, what is called detachment is the same as attachment to Krishna, because without attachment to Krishna, you're not going to get detachment. You get something else. You get something that floats in the air for a while and then comes in for a landing, and then like the fall season, looking out the window and all the wonderful leaves of the trees are falling to the ground, fluttering down, and then you know what comes next. It's just the movements of the sun. So as time moves, circumstances move, life changes, it just keeps cycling around endlessly till annihilation. And then it's resting, and then it's creation again. Then it does it again. It doesn't stop. Is there a stop button? To the procrastination button? It's the why. Is it important? If it's important, why is it important? So if you go this, you have to be in the reflective space, not in the achieving space, get it done space, get recognition, adoration, pride, and distinction, and get people to think, oh, they can do this and that, and you get accolades and you get pats on the back and stuff like that. You get some recognition. And there may be a human need. We want to love and be loved. But love isn't just people patting you on the back. What is it? Is it important? If it's important, why is it important? So I'm drilling on the point for a reason. There's lessons of life that if you learn them when you're young, it'll help you. You don't learn them when you're young, you'll like to repeat the same stuff over and over again until you get a bang on the head and you say, this isn't good. I have to do something else. Do it a little differently. But then the tendency will be to go back to the old pattern. So good to learn patterns when you're a little more flexible, you're a little on the younger side. And then comes the other point that was on the topic of overcoming procrastination. The other topic was the cart, put the horse before the cart. What does that mean? It's the same thing as put the why before the what and how. This is just another way of saying the same thing that did connect with the overcoming procrastination topic. The cart is the stuff that gets pulled, and the horse is the thing that pulls the cart. So what pulls progressive life forward, for a materialist is this, and for a spiritual person that understands what reality really is, it's, your spiritual discipline, your spiritual practice that helps you get to where you want to go, because you did the why question carefully. Now you're working with the how. That's the horse. It's bhakti. And your bhakti begins every day, same Patanjali yoga, every day. For a prolonged period of time, with faith, those three things. Very simple. That's bhakti. And the horse will take you to the destination. If you have good association, in addition to practice, abhyasa, you get good association. So if you start to get distracted or detoured or something, someone can tap you on the shoulder, a friend, or a teacher, or a parent, or somebody who's wise, and in a nice way, they tap you on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, but you're headed for the ditch." Do you want to go to the ditch? pay attention, you have this human form of life, you're riding in a fast vehicle, watch the speed limit. And, stay in your lane, please. Don't fall asleep. Because it's a good vehicle. Again, you to your destination, but please don't fall asleep. Oh, yeah. I'm heading for the ditch. That's the horse that pulls the cart. The cart is it's the things that are less important to you than the most important thing. It's the same as this anarta nivritti, overcoming unwanted things, overcoming procrastination. Put the horse first. Do the bhajana kriya nicely, and the anarta nivritti is going to follow. The unwanted stuff that's inside and outside, it's taken care of. That's the horse doing bhajana kriya in the association of devotees that are wise. Keep good association. Make good friends. Be kind to everybody, and have some very good friends that are wholesome. And make those your connections. At least some that you can go to. It doesn't matter. Their age doesn't matter. They can be 15 generations older than you. It can be our previous acharyas, but persons who you can bring your heart to and be with, and open your heart and hear from them. And then it goes in. And then you're back on track again, if you got off track, or you get recharged. Good association, proper practice, and teachings that you're clear the teaching going to take you to where you want to go. I want to go to that Vaikuntha place. I want to go to this. I want to be with Krishna. Wherever that is, I want to be with Krishna. That's the horse before the cart. Then the wanted things, that's what's in the cart. You'll get there. The horse will pull the cart. And then you're not alone. You're with, other things that are meaningful to you, but because you put the horse first instead of the cart before the horse. You put the horse before the cart. Okay, so I did some talking. Now, there's two other, say, 12. What's our cutoff time?
There is no cutoff time.
Oh, come on. Somebody that has a different answer, please. Huh? What? Oh, come on. All right, so the two things remaining are questions and answers and a little breakout session. And I think it's nice to do a little breakout session because the questions and answers could, take up a bunch of time. The breakout session is shorter. So for those of you that are in the category of youth, that's why it's good that you're sitting together, but there's some people that came in the back. You got to come up front, please. You didn't hear, but you can sit with people that did hear. And, some topic that you heard that you feel it resonated, and it's something maybe if you did this one thing or these two things, it could help me overcome the procrastination and be in a place where I'm regularly, every day for a prolonged period of time with faith, working on putting the cart before the horse. Even when there's obstacles and, circumstances that are difficult. It happens. So find somebody, or 2 or 3, or however many you want to do it, and I'll say, Marcus said go, then you can begin. So then I'll just stop speaking and you can do the speaking. And then we'll have questions, answers. Okay, on your mark. Look around. Get set. Go.
What things that have been required on a daily basis.
The adults, if you want, you can have your own little discussion group.
Yes, I know you
Okay.
the whole time. I was looking at
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It worked. I didn't know if it would work. Okay, so now is our fun time. The best part is not what I had to say, is the question and answer. My experience is the best. So I invite you all, starting with the youth especially, to raise whatever question or dissatisfaction or, whatever you'd like. Topics you'd like to discuss. Nothing.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for coming to Boston.
You can speak on this.
It's not going to be easy to do this with you don't have a portable microphone.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Wouldn't be the same without you.
Maharaj, I have a question, like in the thing that you mentioned. So, like any material problem can be like solved using like spiritual solution.
Yes.
So can you please explain?
Yeah. Yes. Two things. Ready? This material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. When an object moves, the shadow that's cast by the object moves. If you want to move the shadow, you move the object that's casting the shadow will move. Try to move the shadow without moving the object that's casting the shadow doesn't move. This material world is a shadow, or abhasa, or reflection. So behind it all, there's a object, the source, and you connect with that source, and it brings about change in this plane. Without it, it doesn't bring about a change in this plane. It may appear to configure things a little differently. Now, that's part one. Part two is, supposing you're not such an elevated person that you can see the object that's casting the shadow. You can't see Krishna, but you can see the reflection. So then there's a way to to spiritualize the reflection, this material, and that is like the bhakti, like the example of the iron rod put into fire becomes fire. You know that example. So you can spiritualize, you have solution A or B or C or combination, and make it connected to pleasing Krishna, the bhakti principle, and then that solution becomes, or that activity becomes spiritualized. It acts in a spiritual way. The red hot iron rod will start fires. So the material solution can become spiritualized, or if it's actually a solution, it's spiritualized. And that's the bhakti principle. Those are the two-part answers.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Respond further, expanding on that point. Yes. You have something. Yes? No? Maybe? Yes. No, it was. You just.
I'm not that organizing my thoughts.
Oh, you're organizing your thoughts. Here's one over here.
You can just speak. It's okay. With my name be interfering with this.
So, Maharaj, like how you said, like, one should practice something for a prolonged period of time. I mean, it becomes natural, but sometimes, maybe even after practicing something for a prolonged period of time, that thing is not very deeply embedded, like, into your life.
Therefore, the third part is also has to be there. I mean, there's Sanskrit phrase, I just made it simple. With faith, there's specific, it's going to get you to where you want to go. So that's the heart. That's the why. I'm doing on a regular basis. So it's an author. I'm aligning my practice with something that's coming from the right source. And I have faith in the source. I have faith in the teachings and the teacher and the destination. That's the heart. So now let's compare one person with another person, or the room full of us. We're all doing the same thing, in different ways and different degrees. And some progress rapidly and some a little slowly, and that goes on. What makes the difference? It's that third item. It may be, the first two items. I not do so regularly, and I intermittently, and those things. But the bhakti is the force. That's the third item. And with faith, it'll get me there. Now, what precedes faith? Or where does faith come from? Maybe where does it come from? That's a nice question. Guess what? Madhurya Kandambati asks the question, and it gives the answer. And it comes from association with those that have it. Or, on the soul platform, we all have intrinsic bhakti. On the soul platform, it's covered. And it's called something else. We have different names for the something else's. But it's intrinsic at the soul platform. And it comes out when associating with persons that have it. The spark can start a fire. But with dry leaves. Something that's combustible. So, because the soul, so it's the association of those that are carrying bhakti. That's how you get it. Agyata sukriti. And it's not just pious activities, it's devotional association. Distribute prashadam. Or go on Harinam and people hear the chanting. So there's something's happening. You may not see it right away, but the beginning is there because they heard, or they accepted, or something. Rathiyatra, something. So it begins. There's receiving from one who has it. So it's because it's intrinsic, but it's covered. So it's just vibrating that which is covered, resonating by sound, especially that which is covered, it awakens. And then what do you have to continue chanting and hearing? Shravanam Kirtanam. In good association. Sadhu Sangha. Because Sadhu Sangha is where the seed starts. It's a nice topic. And if that's where it begins, then it's really important to preserve it and nurture it. Like a seed, and you get a seed and you grow. You had a garden before? Yeah. It starts with seeds. And then you water the seed. Not too much. Not too little. A little bit every day. And some sunshine. So, supposing it happens, supposing faith wanes, then what? the progress will be a little slower. Supposing I'm continuing and I don't have taste. So there's Sanskrit term for this. It's good, but part of this presentation that I'm going to be making. But there's no taste, but you continue anyway because you have some faith. So progress will be slow, but it'll be steady. And then good association will help it become faithful and more effective. Good association, that those that have it can give it. There's another nice teaching. How is it they can give it? Krishna gives them the power to give it. Krishna gives his Kripa Shakti to Madhyama the Bhaktas. You have the power of attorney. You can give me to others. Go ahead. That's Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy flows because he gives it to those who are the Madhyama Bhaktas. And then sometimes persons like Prabhupada will come from the topmost, the Uttama position to the Madhyama position, and they act like Madhyamas, but they're in the Uttama position. Then that's like, whew. That's very rare. But mainly the other is just fine. You have something.
I have a question. So we all know about the three modes.
We do. We're well acquainted with the three modes.
And so my question is, which is the hardest or hard to cultivate but easy to live with? Which one of those modes? And
Why are you asking that question? You're asking me a question. I'm asking you a question. Why are you asking that question?
Because we tend to fall into these modes, like from time to time.
Not tend to. We are.
So then at least you get this idea that this one is I'm falling into it, but arrest yourself from it.
Well, yes, it's sadhusanga again. Same as her question. You associate with devotees, and if supposing somebody is like hardcore ignorant, they're going to reject devotee association or mode of goodness association. They're going to reject it. No thanks, or get out of here, or something. You're under arrest. Let's put you in jail. There are places that happens. They don't want it. They don't want it. So, and there's other persons that just like tune you out. So, it's just how to move is where that which is intrinsic to the soul meets that which is an exemplar of this higher mode, and one becomes attracted to it. I like it. It resonates. I'm not there yet, but it resonates. So then one can move. Did that answer your question? Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. My question was, like, when we're like doing spiritual activities, like, how do we get the motivation to start doing it? Or like every day, like sometimes like I don't feel like motivated to like chant or do something spiritual.
Okay. Well, just do a rerun. It's just fine. I'm happy with your question. Go into a reflective space, a mode of goodness space. What's going on here? I mean, you don't have to answer me right now, but that's what you can do within yourself or with a friend or combination. What's going on here? Why is it that I have some conceptual understanding that this is good for me, but I don't do it? So what's going on? Is it important or not? If it's important, why is it important? The why question, the reflective, mode of goodness. It's just a step in the direction of mode of goodness. And then, if it, sit with it. If it doesn't you don't get a quick answer, because ideally it'll go to the heart level, not just the head level. You get to check the box and you get the answer and then you move on. Go to the heart level. What does that mean? It means it's meaningful to you. Not just, it's at the soul platform instead of the intelligence platform. You know the verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3? Senses are superior to dull matter. The mind is superior to the senses. Intelligence is superior to the mind, and above them all is the soul. You know that verse? Okay, but you have an idea what I'm talking about. So, go to your place, and it's like in between the mind and the senses. The intelligence kind of checked out, or, you know, it's not like pushing. It's not directing the mind. It's there. I can, you know, if I get an exam and I can give the right answer, but I don't live by it. My intelligence is not operating so well. Although it's information, I don't live by it, kind of thing. So you go to the soul level, the reflective. And I'm the language that I've been using this evening is ask the why question. Why is this going on? If I know but I don't do, why is that? It must be that I haven't connected from my heart enough to the why. Is it important? If it's important, why is it important? It's, you know, it has to do then aligning intelligence. Where does intelligence come from anyway? Super soul, right? Krishna says, 15th chapter, He's the intelligence of the intelligent. That's chapter 10. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. You want to forget? Super soul help you. You want to remember? Super soul help you. You want intelligence? Super soul is ready. Are you ready? So then the intelligence can direct the mind, can direct the senses, but it has to come from the what you want. Is it important? What's the human mission anyways? You know, like, that's stepping way back. What am I supposed to be doing in this lifetime? Be successful, right? Quote. What is that? Become happy. What's that? There's all kinds of misdefinitions of what happiness is and success is. Lots of varieties of it. So what is it? It's just reflective. If you can get stuck in, I'm stuck. And then you can feel bad about, I'm stuck. And then you can get sad and you get even depressed and, it can get worse. Those negative emotion things. So, mode of goodness. By choice. Pause. Look inside. Discuss with someone that's a wise person, a friend, something, fill in the blank. A person that has wisdom. Doesn't matter how old they are. A person has wisdom. And hang out with the person that has wisdom. And then they'll help you understand, not do it for you, but help you go through the effort of understanding what's important and why is it important. And then you connect from the heart, not just from the head. And then you're ready to go. And then what happens is patterns have a tendency to repeat. So you get the right idea and you're enthusiastic, and then then you go back and do it again. Connect with your heart. That's bhakti. And then those things that help nourish the heart, do those things. You get just something. It doesn't have to be like home run. Just, practice. Something that it resonates for you, and it aligns with teachings, and you do that every day for a prolonged period of time with faith. It's going to get me to this good place, better than yesterday. I'm not there yet, but I'm in the process of getting there by doing something that resonates and makes sense, and there's aligned with higher teachings and higher consciousness and wise people that I trust. And you just regularly do that. in the cultivation, in the earlier stages of life, it's easier than when it's the older stages of life and people already have their patterns and habits. It's hard to break old habits, hard to form new ones when you're a little older. So you've got a great opportunity. Be forever youthful. Lots of yoga, very flexible. Does that help?
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
This was my follow-up question. How to deal with the feeling of exasperation? Because sometimes you may have spent some time doing bhakti or maybe in your devotional life, but then you are still not there.
Okay.
And the feeling is not due to humility, like at least for myself. It's objectively that you are not there. Then
Okay.
how can you give oneself hope and deal with it? I mean, patiently deal with it.
Same answer, but I'll do it. I'll give a different. Just say it the same thing in a different way. There was a devotee couple that were asked to give a seminar titled "Still Reading, Still Chanting, Not Much Change." Common. So the why and what to do. That's that's your question. And the answer is the same answer. And how did to get to the point to do what you're doing? How did it happen? Sadhu Sangha. Adar Shraddha, where does faith come from? We discussed, and then through Sadhu Sangha. Then some bhajana kriya. So the bhajana kriya may be not so strong. It has something to do with the sangha that you're keeping. It has something to do with the attachments to the temporary that you're maintaining. It's not outside, it's inside. The anarthas are not outside, they're inside. So Sadhu Sangha plus Bhajana Kriya brings about an archana vritti. So then, what are those unwanted things? Here's another statement, matching your statement. Before you began devotional practice, you probably had no idea how many anarthas are in there. And you start devotional practice and you find, oh my God, this and that and the other thing, and woo! Run the other way. You can't run the other way. You face the beast and you continue. But it doesn't go away so easily, and I don't feel I'm progressing as much as I could, should, would. Then same as this question she asked. You go into this reflective space. What's going on here? Which is what your question is. Why is it like this? And then, so you go to wisdom literature, you go to a wise person. As the assembly like this is to help us do exactly that. Gatherings of sadhus together. And there's the process of anartha nivritti. So good association and sadhana where you know what's what. So there's too many unwanted things. So what do I do? Because my progress is slow and I'm feeling frustrated, exasperated was your word, right? It's not, this is the put the horse before the cart answer, the reply to your question. Just check the horse. We're not the International Society for Anartha Nivritti Consciousness, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So those things that are part of you, that help you feel at the heart level, I'm connecting. Do that. Hang out there for a while. It can be cooking, it could be deity worship, it could be reading the Bhagavatam, it could be chanting japa, it could be whatever it could be. The 9 different processes of bhakti, prayers, bhajan. I'll just a little sharing, it's going to end with this one. Prabhupada liked bhajan. When he sang in the early days, it was the Hare Krishna melody. And then we all know the melody. And he could sing it, and no problem. When he was alone, this was his practice. He would, because I personally witnessed it. He went to the front room, which was, his sitting room, with his harmonium, and would sing his heart. Bhajans, but with the meaning of the bhajan, not just, recite the words and, etc. And it was very meaningful to him. So it's that which for you brings a connection, the Krishna connection, because we've forgotten. And do some of that. And then you take strength from that and apply it in other areas. Borrow strength from strength and apply it in areas that aren't so strong. One of the ones that's like really, 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 that's 3 reallys, important, is your chanting of the holy name. So apply it to there. If you're not, holy name chanting is not so strong. Strength from other places. Or find some method that can strengthen through Sangha, and because it's abundant these days, ways people can get together. And I know a cancer specialist, won't give his name. He's really, he knows his stuff. He's the head of a cancer wing of a hospital, and he attends a japa session that's online every day, or most days, because it gives him strength. So he found this gives him strength, and it helps his japa. And so, a busy man, busier than most of us, and gives him strength. So, and then you stay with it every day for find that which worked for you. So borrow something to give strength, and borrow from that strength into some other areas. Last question. Will you have something? No. Okay, go ahead. Last question.
How do you balance?
No. It's my balance button is my button. Go ahead.
How do you balance between the pratikul and the anukul, right? So for example, anukul for the spiritual practices, sometimes be by yourself, do your deity worship, don't need to meet people. But the pratik, and because it can be pratikul, but or should we be putting ourselves out there so we can test our
Some of both.
narthas?
Some of both. Some of both, because it's not balance. It's just both are beneficial. The personal sadhana and the preaching is the contrast that you're making, correct? The reaching out to others.
Not preaching them for ourselves itself, for ourselves. Like, yeah, the sadhu sangha sometimes our relationship with devotees. Sometimes there are ups and downs. So it tests our anarthas, or it tests us like how do we overcome our anarthas. So, but that time we are in a particular situation. So should we stick like to be in a bubble, like as long as you'll be able to focus on your sadhana and Krishna and everything?
Yeah, that's the horse before the cart. When the cart is the anarthas, and you want to get rid of them, but you put the horse first. So now, whatever works, and sometimes, but whatever works. Every day, for a prolonged period. So you just stay with that principle of nicely performed sadhana in good association. And that good association, from what I've understood from your question, I may not have properly understood, but sometimes it's like this and sometimes it's like that, and that's okay. It's going to change.
sometimes a good association is books and lectures versus people.
Yeah, whatever works. And, you know, diversity, because there's abundance of resources. I just personal on response to your, from what I've understood with your question. I'm not really sure I have understood your question, but from what I've understood, I'm doing a lot of not doing what people want me to do these days until this Madhurya Kandamati presentation, because I'm really focused on that. And it's not people, it's that. And when it's over, the door will open and I'll do some of the other. But right now it's purpose-driven. And I really want to, it's a service-minded person, so I want to do the service nicely. And if I get distracted, I won't do the service nicely. So with a smile, I'm trying with a smile to say no. Speak to me in December.
Thank you.
And then in December, I'll have lots of conversations. But of a different type than what I'm doing right now. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Okay.
From Maharaj.